Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a calm conversation about the mundane. Thank you for listening. I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm the mundane.
And that's Amanda Barker, who stubbed her toe a moment ago.
Yeah, it was a dramatic event in this booth.
Yes.
So when I have an incident like stubbing one's toe, my first line of defense is I don't want to faint. So it's always very confusing for Marco because I'm crazy all of a sudden, but I also don't want to I don't want to respond to him. So I usually try to eke out an I'm okay of some level so he can know, okay, this isn't, whatever, and that'll be manageable. But I'm also trying to focus on my breath so that I don't faint because that is a bigger problem.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't faint, but now I have a really busted toe.
She busted it, or she stubbed it on the way into the studio to record, and so recording later than we would have liked.
It was a little baby one, so it's already fat, and now it's very fat.
Okay. Well, hopefully it's not busted. Hopefully it's just a little bit bruised.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Some people have a baby toe that sits on top of their other toes.
It's true. It's true.
That's a neat thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have that, but
I recommend wearing slippers around the house and not be barefoot.
And by slippers, you mean like old lady slippers?
You
call your Birkenstock slippers?
Yeah. I mean Birkenstocks. I mean any sort of slipper type thing.
Well,
that
I
adds
have
protection.
slippers, and I was shooting yesterday, and they wanted me to bring slippers. So I brought all my slippers to show them, and they went, none of these are usable. And then my feet were nowhere near the shot anyway. So That's where they are. They're in a suitcase for nobody to use.
And what kind of slippers do you like to use?
Well, I was trying to find flip-flops to wear down here, but I couldn't find any. So I came down barefoot, and we know how that ended. But I just like a nice comfy slipper. I don't know. I like something with a lot of inside comfort, like, a fake lamb's wool or something, or wool, whatever.
What about like a Birkenstock, like what I wear?
See, that to me is a sandal. It's not a slipper, for starters. I love a Birkenstock. The problem with backless shoes is sometimes they hurt the backs of my ankles because my foot's constantly gripping to hold them on. But a good flip-flop, yeah, that's a thing. And you get shin splints from them often. A lot of people do.
Why is the back of your foot gripping?
My foot... Well, I'll try to demo with my busted toe, but my foot's constantly gripping to hold the shoe on because otherwise it'll fall off.
But it wouldn't fall off if you have like a double strap like the one I have here.
When I had Birkenstocks like that was the biggest problem, so I had to stop wearing them.
I see.
Yeah. But I like wearing them around the house because they're good support. I love them. I love Birkenstocks, but I have a pair of Birkenstock boots that I wear all winter long. They're huge because Birkenstocks just have that wide sole. So imagine that in a leather boot. I look like I'm stepping off of a motorcycle in Blade Runner or something. But I do love them. No, I have a pair of flip-flops called Archies.
Yes.
They offer really great support.
Trevor was telling me all about Archies.
Trevor and I like to buy things that are pitched to us online.
But Archies, do you have to grasp with your heel?
No. I mean, I've gotten better over the years with wearing backless shoes. But that's the problem with backless shoes and me. Like I can't wear them every day.
These are slippers or sandals, as you call them. They're not shoes.
Yeah, they're sandals. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, flip flops aren't. I mean, they're their own category too.
Mm-hmm. I don't like a flip flop. You have the flip flop that goes like a thong flip flop. Is that what we're talking?
Yeah, thongs. That's what
Aussies call them, right?
I think I've heard them called thongs before, but then obviously thongs are also underwear, so I don't know. AKA the thong song.
Can you wear both thongs on your feet?
What happened to Cisco?
Can you wear both? He sang the thong song, in case you're wondering. And he's not the one who delivers food to different restaurants and whatnot.
Cisco with a C. Or Chisco, as it might be called.
Are you able to wear thongs on your feet and thongs on your underwear at the same time?
Thongs on my underwear?
Well, thongs as underwear.
Me or theoretical you? Because I think both are true.
The royal we. Do you think we could do it?
I don't like feeling like I have a wedgie every day of my life,
Okay.
so it would not be me, but the royal we could do it. I'm sure someone in royalty has done such a thing.
Fair enough. It's just a funny thought. There's no other thong other than those two instances of thong, right?
There's tongs, salad tongs.
Yeah.
You could use them while you're wearing your thong and your other thong.
Do you use salad tongs? We have a few of them, and they always drive me a little bit crazy because they expand. These ones we have now are pretty good. They kind of hold their place when you're not using them.
Mm-hmm. What do you mean they expand?
You know how if you...
Oh, you mean like... Yeah, is that what they're called? Tongs? The thing with the thing on top that holds the two pieces together, you mean?
Yeah, it's a little thing that allows you to pick up stuff.
That's a
tong.
I guess it is. I was thinking salad, like we have a salad big fork and spoon combo made out of wood. That's what I use.
I don't like the bear claw thingy that we have. They're kind of like, they look like combs. They're like short. Is that what you're talking about?
Wait, we have short ones? Yeah, no, there's like a big wooden thing. What are you talking about?
Don't we have little...
when are you making salad?
No, it's true. But you know the two wooden ones that we have that don't have handles?
Yeah, that's what I prefer to use. That's the one you don't like?
Yeah, I don't like them. They don't have handles. It seems weird to me. It feels like
they don't have handles.
They don't have long handles.
They have handles, though. There's some don't, but those ones do.
I don't like them.
My toe hurts.
I'm sorry.
Now I'm trying to use the tile to cool it because I can't move away from the mic to ice it. So I'm just trying to find a cool tile moment to put it on. It's all swollen.
Amanda had a bag of frozen milk on her foot a moment ago.
So that's a very Canadian thing, frozen milk. We should probably explain that.
Frozen milk is a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
Bags of milk.
Both.
Okay.
Because you can't really freeze a carton of milk, can you?
Sure you can. If you have room in your freezer, you can freeze a carton of milk.
I suppose, but I've never tried. But Canada... Is Canada the only country in the world that has bags of milk?
I believe so.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened or how that started, but in Canada...
Very practical people.
For those who are not here, well, yeah, I suppose, but they're plastic. But they sell... You buy your milk. I mean, you can buy it in a carton, like a civilian. Or if you're the rest of the population, the majority of the population, I think, what you do is you buy a bag, and in that bag are 3 individual bags.
Correct.
Of milk. All like a liter, I would say, of milk, each one.
Sure, yeah.
I don't know. Anyway.
I'm going to go with that. It's either 750 or a liter, sure.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 liters for 3 bags, I believe is what it is.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Or I'd have to look at the big bag.
A liter 25. I think that is what it is, actually.
Okay.
It's 1.25. Anyway.
But you should explain what the bag is like. Because,
yeah, I'm trying.
Great.
So then you get this bag. It's clear bag or it's blue. One company makes them in like a blue plastic. The rest are clear. And you put it in a separate plastic container that you just use and wash that looks just like a little pitcher. And you put the bag in the little pitcher, but you keep everything in the bag. And then you just cut a little hole in the corner of the bag and pour it out that way.
The bag looks like a rectangle, like a. I'm trying to think of something that looks like that bag. So when people think bag, they feel
like a little sandbag, like a baby sandbag filled with milk.
Yeah, I guess a sandbag. I'm trying to think of other things like they're rectangular and kind of long. And
it's a rectangle, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a rectangle of milk. Good old anyway. And you buy them, and now here's the thing. A lot of adults are like, oh, I don't drink a lot of milk. I put cream in my coffee or whatever. Well, Marco and I do drink milk for cappuccinos, but it is mostly just for coffee. We're not big into cereal or anything, but we like having milk in the house.
I don't mind cereal, but we don't often buy it in this house.
No, it's true. I don't know. I fell out of the cereal train once I hit my adult years, and I kind of never looked back. But in any event, we drink it enough that we, about half the time, have it in the house, I would say.
Full disclosure, we have 2 boxes of Shreddies that were on sale. Honey Shreddies, my favorite.
Also very Canadian, so explain Shreddies.
Shreddies are a cereal that look like a little square that have almost a pattern on them, like a crisscross pattern.
Yeah, they're almost like Chex
but better.
Like American Chex.
But dense.
But they're not as puffed as American Chex. They're
dense and tasty.
So that's a thing. So anyway.
You know who likes Shreddies?
Your sister.
Yes, it's true.
Apparently. And you.
Yes.
You like them. Your sister and you are very interesting because you guys really do love really purely Canadian things, I would say.
We do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure. You both have like a real love of like really Canadian things. Because I think you're kids that grew up in Canada. And
yeah, we're Canadian.
I know.
But I don't understand what makes...
Well, Shreddies is one for sure.
Tasty.
Bagged milk.
Bagged milk. That's the best way to have milk in a bag.
So anyway, you can recycle these bags for those who are like, wow, this is a lot of plastic, which it is. But the glory of it is for people like us who are not going to go through, like what we used to buy in the States when I was a kid, those big jugs of milk, the gallon of milk or whatever. You can just have one bag on the go, but you have those other 2 bags and you can throw them in the freezer and then you just defrost them and it defrosts perfectly fine. You can even throw it in the little pouring jug and it'll slowly defrost there. So that's kind of the glory. Well, this week I hit the frozen milk jackpot.
It's true.
Because I don't even shop at the grocery store that's near us because we just... Our food needs are not really organized in a way where I go to the grocery store, is the truth. We do box meals and then we do a big box Costco store.
Shopping spree, yeah. But we used to have 2 grocery stores very close to us. Now we have, or 3 with the other one that opened down the street. Mm-hmm. Actually 4.
To be honest, 4. We actually have 4. We're in a
grocery store
zone.
And one is now turning into condos, so it's gone, my Sobeys.
Yeah. Another one, another condo put a grocery store in a very, like, our version of a Whole Foods, I would say.
Yeah, and I don't love it. I don't love getting to it. I don't love it.
It's niche. It has some, it's Canada's answer to Trader Joe's, so it's not Trader Joe's. No. It does its best. That's the best I can say.
And so anyways, the one closest to our house
is just the biggest one of Canada, and so I don't go there a lot, and so I don't need to. We go to Costco. We have box meals. We're only 2 people in this house. I don't need to shop like we're a family of 6. We're not. Fair. So I've learned. I love to grocery shop, but I've learned that it's not, especially in the summer. We've been away a ton.
We go to food stands. We have beautiful peaches right now.
Yeah. We got corn and peaches from a food stand. I made a gorgeous corn chowder out of local corn and potatoes. So, we don't need to do that as much.
Amanda subscribed to some service where you can go pick fruit off people's trees.
I know, and we have to do that because I've gotten a lot of updates of like fruit picks available.
What fruit picks are available?
I don't know where we're at. I think we're almost out of cherry season. Okay. I don't even know.
All right.
So, yeah, we got to do that, but we haven't been around. So I haven't committed to a fruit pick because we haven't been around.
We had to go out of country for work. That's why you didn't have an episode last week. So anyways.
Very unexpectedly, to be honest. So all this to say, the more important thing, of course, going out of country is interesting, but for us, what is most interesting for this podcast
is
bags of milk. Bags of milk. So I hit the bagged milk jackpot. I saw on one of the groups I'm on, hey, everyone, they got the bagged milk for $2 at this grocery store. Now, that's unheard of because usually you buy these 3 bags and it'll run you around $6.
Yeah.
Between 5 and 6 on a normal day.
I don't remember when they sold them for $2. I always remember them around $3.
Yeah, and now they're definitely $5 would be sale.
Yeah.
It's between 5 and 6, generally speaking. And so, and of course, the reason being because the milk was set to expire, I think, next week.
I see.
So
they had a surplus of milk. They had a run on milk that they had to get rid of, in other words.
So I bought 4 of these bags, which remember contain 3 bags each of milk. So our freezer is just bags
frozen
of milk. So we do have peas for my poor wounded toe, but they are way behind some frozen milk that I haven't managed to get to yet. So You and I are drinking a lot of cappuccinos, I guess.
I guess that milk will last us. The interesting thing is when you unfreeze a bag of milk, it doesn't froth the same way as prior to frozen. That's
true.
Unless someone has a tip on how to froth reconstituted
thawed milk.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's perfectly the same milk. It's not like
there's nothing odd about
weird or chunky or anything about it. But sometimes I can get it to froth.
I was gonna try to make ricotta with the milk, and I just didn't have time or the desire. I've been busy.
Yeah. Well, you use a whole. How much to get like a good cup of ricotta?
You need those 3 bags.
Or ricotta.
You need 3 bags for sure. There's a lot of...
it's not economical.
No,
really.
It's not. Like I thought at one point, I'll make my own ricotta. We don't have to buy it, but it actually costs more to make it than...
Although making your own and when you eat it warm is like nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think our ricotta needs are as such that we need to be funding them with.
I'm still curious on what me and my sister do that's very Canadian that you said
you say converter for the remote.
Right. That's what it's called.
You reference Canadian things. I think you say Chesterfield for the sofa.
That's actually a British thing. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but it's also a Canadian thing. I guess. And you do it. You guys,
I would like to get a Chesterfield.
You guys like
an
craft
actual
dinner?
Chesterfield.
Okay. Well, we will.
Okay.
You both like craft dinner and call it craft dinner.
Who doesn't?
What else do you guys do that's Canadian? I don't know. She likes drip coffee.
Okay, fair enough.
I think she likes Tim Hortons.
Now, Amanda, anytime me and my sister do something together that's very Canadian, she'll point it out to us.
But like to me, Shreddies is a very Canadian. I love Shreddies is a very Canadian thing.
Because they're boring. It's a boring cereal, right? It's not like a
super
Sugar Puffs or a Fruit Loops or anything.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch, I'll have you know.
But at that point, it's no longer cereal.
Well, this is why Amanda needs to get her sugar levels checked as an adult, because that's what she lived on as a child. What can I say?
Fair enough.
Yeah, listen, I was raised in the heart of America.
It's true.
Not the heartland, the revolutionary heart.
Yeah. Amanda, if you haven't...
If this is your first podcast, folks, I'm from just south of Boston. Really just south, like we call it Boston. But
the South Shore.
The South Shore. That's where I'm from.
That's right.
With my busted toe.
And I'm from...
Wicked hurts. Oh, man.
I'm from...
Swelling up
just
now.
north of Toronto is where I was born.
That's true.
And then I lived just north of Toronto, but now I live in Toronto. So
you identify as a Torontonian?
I think so. I
think you're as much as anyone as a Torontonian. I mean, you've lived in Toronto proper, not the suburbs, for 20 plus years now.
Right. But I grew up always like in the suburbs, Mississauga, Vaughan. You know, that was sort of my world. Mm-hmm. But it's changed. It's changed quite a bit. I was talking to someone about that. It's like you go back to where you were raised, and it looks totally different.
Yeah, it's true. Well, nothing gold can stay, Pony Boy.
I guess. Speaking of that, that's on Broadway right now.
I saw the original movie the other day, and for me, it holds up.
Oh, you watched the Outsiders?
Yeah, when I was sick a couple weeks ago, like a month ago now, I just had this urge to watch The Outsiders. I hadn't seen it since I was 7 years old.
Wow.
But I had sort of memories of it. It's interesting, like, Tom Cruise has a very small role in it. Like, you think of the cast, and they all went on to have incredible careers, really. Except for maybe...
C. Thomas Howell?
The lead, yeah, C. Thomas Howell. I mean, he did.
In the 80s, he had a lot of movies he was doing.
I bet you he did. If you looked it up, he's like a big director or something now.
Sure.
But the rest of them, I mean, Patrick Swayze, Patrick Swayze, by the way, is great in it. Tom Cruise... obviously Ralph Macchio, who's had a nice resurgence with the Karate Kid series.
Cobra Kai.
Which I love, by the way.
So do I.
We're behind on that. We're a couple seasons behind on that. We did, I think, up to season 2 or 3. It got a little, I couldn't follow which dojo was which, and who were the good guys or whatever, so I kind of stopped watching. But we should get back into that, because it had a very promising beginning. And I have to say, that original Karate Kid movie, since we're on that, also holds up. And I have a theory on why.
Why?
Okay, here's my theory on the Karate Kid that everyone has been dying to hear. My theory is improv.
Oh.
My theory is improv.
Oh.
So when you watch the Karate Kid movie, there are parts of it, obviously it's scripted, it's a scripted movie, but there are a lot of parts of it that feel really real and organic and like they just happened for the first time, which is what any good scene or acting should feel like.
Right.
But that's hard to do when you've been rehearsing and, and a lot of movies in the 80s do not feel that way or didn't feel that way. So this one is, I think, unique, and it's why it holds up. And my theory as to why is because Ralph Macchio did The Outsiders. The Outsiders, we remember, was Francis Ford Coppola.
That's right.
Which is an interesting choice, which, by the way, tangent on that, apparently Francis Ford Coppola made that movie because a classroom wrote to him and said, "We love this book. Would you please make it into a movie?" Yeah, this is a true story. Yeah, like a third grade class or something wrote to him.
I think that book's a little bit intense for a grade 3 class, but okay.
See, grade 3, Canadian.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, maybe they're in middle school. I don't know.
Grade 3. We love this very violent book where a kid.
I was 7. I was grade 2 when I saw it. But anyway, okay, whatever.
Fair enough.
I don't know, but anyway.
The lore is that...
No, it's not a lore if you look it up.
Okay.
The internet is real. You can find the original letter and all of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They wrote to him and said, we think this should be your next movie after The Godfather. And he read it and went, guess what? We're going to do it. We optioned it. Good idea.
How does a grade 3 class find his address to write him a letter?
Because the 80s.
Okay.
I don't know, Marco.
All right.
When I was in grade 3, our teacher had us write to companies asking for free samples. It's actually brilliant as a way for us to practice our letter writing skills.
And did you get free samples?
I did. You know, the company that really... I did from a few companies, but there was one and I hit the jackpot.
I'm going to say Ocean Spray Cranberries.
No, such a good guess.
McClaw's Lobster Rolls.
That hadn't come out yet.
Okay. I don't know.
Campbell Soup.
Oh.
Campbell Soup sent me a box of...
Clam chowder.
No. Actually, I don't think any of it was soup. I think it was all like the Campbell's kids. So it was like coloring books for the classes.
Oh,
like
wow.
Coloring books, stickers. They had all of this paraphernalia. And the main thing for us as kids were in that age wasn't necessarily like, are we going to get... we just wanted to see what we could get out of these companies.
Sure.
Which is funny because I ended up being on the other side of those letters years later for a big pizza company here. And that was my job for a long time, was answering those letters. But that's what we did. But it was really brilliant, actually, because it was for us to practice our formal letter writing skills. To like where the address goes, to whom it may concern.
I love it.
Best regards, Amanda Barker, grade 3 student, Mrs. Huff's class.
And were you the only one who got a mother load of return?
A couple kids did, but I remember being so proud because no one else had done Campbell's Soup.
I see.
A lot of kids hit up like Johnson & Johnson.
Of course.
I don't remember. We weren't allowed to do like medicine brands, so I can't really remember which that probably is.
So nobody wrote to Ozempic or anything like that is what you're saying?
It did not
exist.
It did not exist. But... yeah, I think there was a lot of like Procter and Gamble.
I see.
Like it was a lot of that because
Sure.
we'd be like, oh, who makes this toothpaste? And it would be and we learned, a lot of companies make a lot of things and they come back to the same company. Isn't that
your teacher was pretty brilliant.
Listen, I stand by the education I got in Massachusetts. I got a good education. It wasn't easy. Like they would give you a D and they wouldn't think twice about it, but we learned, man. Anyway, I don't know how I got on Campbell's Soup, but The Outsiders.
You were talking about The Outsiders, of course.
Yeah, they wrote to him, and so he made it. But anyways, Karate Kid. It all comes back to Karate Kid.
I never liked The Outsiders, the book or the movie.
What?
Yeah.
I read the one after it. I can't remember what it was called.
The Insiders?
No.
There's a book after The Outsiders?
Yeah, it's like Then Again or If Only Then or something.
Sounds like
that.
the Sex and the City remake.
No, it was arguably better than that.
Okay.
Not arguably, it was better than that. And what's funny is Essie Hinton,
yes,
she's in The Outsider. She has a cameo as one of the nurses.
Really?
That's treating Ralph Macchio.
Oh, good,
yeah,
good for them. Yeah,
yeah, and they're like really the actors are like really rude to her, and the Matt Dillon is like really rude to her in the scene, but she's the author of the book. She wasn't old. She wrote it as a teen.
Wow.
So she's only in her like 20s in that movie. It's pretty incredible. Anyway.
Wait, she wrote it in her teens?
Yeah. Okay. And she used S.E. Hinton because she thought nobody will take a girl seriously.
Wow.
So she used that. Her name's like Susan Hinton or something. Yeah. So, and she plays one of the nurses. Like, she has like one line, but they purposely, Coppola did a cameo. Pretty brilliant, really. Anyway, so he, on The Outsiders, Francis Ford Coppola, that is, he really had them, you know, it was coming off the 70s, off of Pacino and obviously the work in The Godfather and De Niro and that school of acting in the 70s, which was very method. So he had the boys all living together and had them improvising together and really just fostered this culture of improv with all of them. And the next movie Ralph Macchio did was The Karate Kid. So he was coming from Francis Ford Coppola, the spirit of improv. And just, he had, which most kids would not have, and I know this to be true because I work with kids in acting every day, wouldn't have the courage to just go off page and just become the character and improvise a scene and think that that's okay and that's a thing they can just go for on set. But Ralph Macchio did because he had just been coming from a set where that was the norm.
Right.
And then you pair him with Pat Morita, who had been a lifelong stand-up comedian, long history of, you know, stand-up, but in stand-up there's a lot of improv, obviously, if you're good at it. And so the two of them just met comedic beats together, even though it's not a comedic movie.
Right.
They found the timing and the improv organically together, and that's why it holds up. The Karate Kid, there you go.
And there you go. I feel like we did a tour of the 80s today, as well as a cup of Campbell soup. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please tune in and don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe, or just give us a really positive review. It would be really helpful. And we hope you did not stay awake till this part of the podcast. But if you did, thank you for staying awake with us. And we will see you, or you will hear us, next time.